and the ancestors are looking out for us. God Hayes is exposing them, man.
Okay, you see that chair right there? See how big it is?
Yeah.
Now look at the poke chair under it. Scroll down, look at the poke chair under
Never have it been made so clear.
Young TV. Young.
We running the game right now.
Young TV.
Time to take over.
Young
We the hottest in the game. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you just not tuned in.
TV.
Share, like on your Instagram, Facebook.
Young TV.
If you tuned in, we broadcasting live from 2030, baby.
Young TV. Young
Taking over the game, baby. Oh yeah.
Young TV.
Hit that like.
Young TV.
Get them likes up in the air, you heard me?
Young TV.
Ride by. Hotel Islam.
Young TV.
Assalamu alaikum. Flown lesson. Peace.
Young TV.
Hit that like.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that we had like 9 planets, and then 7 of the planets had life on them. That's why he was like in the 1940s. Y'all remember that? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad then went on to describe the beings that lived on Mars. And the beings that live on, I think in private classes, he did like a couple of other planets, because I heard him talk about Mercury, because they were saying that nobody could live on Mercury because it was too close to the sun. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that, nah, that's not true, because outer space is a vacuum, and that that it's negative 270 degrees out of space, and that these elders or these 24 scientists had the mathematical sequence to create bows around the planet. That's what the essentially what they was talking about with the Noah's covenant. You're gonna put the bow in the sky. That's why you see a rainbow, because it's essentially 7 firmaments or light barrels around the planet, like a rainbow. The Rainbow Project, the Big Rainbow Project, not to, dropping the gay bomb on some guys and they go to kiss it and rub at each other. Them niggas crazy, man. With this, the Air Force had a thing called a gay bomb. We'll get into that later, but so we're dealing with people that have been using our tax money in dark, deep space programs, especially after Project Paperclip. Now, for you people that ain't familiar with that rundown, I got a book. I'm gonna start putting up these books too before I go live on stuff that I be talking about. I got a book called The Dark Fleet, Hitler's Fleet. It talks about how they were working with the real society and Ashar Command to go to outer space, to other planets. It's a star system close to here, about 4.2 light years, and that's one of the ones they visit. They made a movie about it called Avatar. The planet they went to, where they visit the Navi people and how they look and how they show you in the movie. That's how they really look. They are crossbreed between the feline beings and the Hindus, and they really tall like that. And the animals they showed you and everything, think they just be making this stuff up out of nowhere? They're not that good, man. We the only ones that can do it without draw it down. We the real druids. Which a lot of them they locked up in prison. Some guys in there can draw a bump down on your face. And you think that ain't extraterrestrial? Extraterrestrial? And they say our planet is a terrestrial planet. And Venus is a terrestrial planet too. But during the after Project Paperclip, they began giving you the falsifying the information and telling you that Venus is covered with lava and volcano activity, so it's inhabitable. But that's so far from the truth. When Venus is a twin planet to Earth, we already put a whole tape out called "Field Trip to Venus," and that beings it's a historical record in the government, and it's so many whistleblowers that came out talking about this stuff about a guy named Valiant Thor who's a visitor from Venus. One type from the and he from the city of Thor, and that's why his last name is Thor. And he came with a group of people: his brother, his wife, his couple of his buddies. One of his buddies essentially was Elvis Presley, who they essentially faked, brought a lookalike in, like his name Johnny something. And because these Venerians, they can't get sideburn, they can't grow hair on their face. So if you look at Valiant Thor and Nicholas Tesla and these people who were Venerians, and Master Farad Muhammad, and it's a couple more people like what's that other dude name that was down there? Ed Lampkin. That's his name. That dude that was building the stone structures down in Florida. He was a Venerian. Emma Jean, I think her name, Marilyn Monroe, was a Venerian. Kennedy, John F. Kennedy, the Kennedy family are Venerians born on Earth. Because there's some Venerians that came to Earth, and then some of them were born on Earth. Doc, talk about that. And people like Joseph Smith, who set up the Mormons, was a Venerian. And if you notice, the bad ones that came, they all set up religions. And then you got elder barons who set up their religions, like Charles Russell, who was an elder baron, who set up the Jehovah's Witness. All these guys coming down setting up religion. Master Farad Muhammad, Nation of Islam. Well, I can't say the Nation of Islam is a religion. It's more like a nation. You know what I'm saying? I can't really say it's Islam civics. But yeah, shout out Master Farad Muhammad and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Minister Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And shout out to the nation and the FOI. Yeah, so yeah, but just think about that. The stuff that Master Farad Muhammad knew. You think that wasn't extraterrestrial shit? The government didn't know nothing about no, Pluto is 4.6 billion miles and the Earth is rotating. They ain't know all of that. They just not figuring that shit out in the 80s. And that's what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said the Master Farad Muhammad taught him. Now, some people allege a whole bunch of other stuff. Oh, it was this or that. But I think that the dude was some type of extraterrestrial. Ain't no way you speaking all them languages. Just like Doc is an extraterrestrial. For real, for real. Ain't no way you speaking all them languages, memorizing the Bible and the Quran. Who else is doing that? Come on, man. That's why they got to lock them on the ground like that. That place really for extraterrestrials. Jeff Ford is an extraterrestrial. Larry Hoover is an extraterrestrial. I'm telling you, man. That place is a place to lock up extraterrestrials. And then for the real bad ones that look ugly, So if the people see him, they'll freak out and go into shock, and their whole nervous system and shit down. They take them motherfuckers to the dark side of the moon, to moon base 12. They showed you that in what's his Man in Black 2, right? I'm telling you, man, they making these movies up. The Man in Black is originally Hitler's Secret Service that transferred over to America and became CIA and Majestic 12. And then and stem down to the Jason Society, the niggas who control all the patents. Yeah. Look up yeah, we got a tape on the Jason Society. Go in our secret. It got a file called the secret, the school for the elites, the playlist for the school for the elites. Scroll down to the Jason Society because Bill Cooper was talking about it, and they put a play on Bill Cooper. They had some teenagers play outside of his house with loud music. Got him come outside with his gun. Just so happened the federal agents is in place. They have a shootout with him or something. You know, the shit is rigged. And boom, he get took out of business. That's the guy that wrote "Behold a Pale Horse," right? And he came out in his book, and he went on a campaign talking about the government getting booty with the grave and doing all kind of stuff with the graves, and doing freaky stuff with the grave. Yeah, man. He came out talking about it. And then there was another guy. It's a couple guys. Now it was another guy that came out saying that the government, like y'all know about Bob Lazar, Area 51. Y'all know about that. Everybody should know about Bob Lazar. He was the one that was responsible for reverse engineering some of these crafts that they learned how to shoot down because they got laser weapons that Hitler was working on in the 1945s. And so when they met up with these grays, these bad grays called the marker beams, the Orion Crusaders, them guys there, man, they the stick up kids of the galaxy, of this part at least. They know who to stick up though, you know what I'm saying? They only catch niggas slipping when they outside of the zone, the nebula. It's a zone where if you get caught outside of that zone, you fair game. You get jacked if you can't protect yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's really like it's out of the jurisdiction of this particular Galactic Court. So if you go outside of that jurisdiction of the Galactic Court, and then a crime is committed, you pretty much got to handle that yourself. Like it's hard to take. All you can put a bounty on them. It's a lot of people in the galaxy that's criminals that got bounties on. And then you got bounty hunters that hunt those people. That's their job. They go around and just like as it is above, so is it below. I'm telling you, man. So just like you got people hunting people down here for bounties, the bounty hunter, dog, the bounty hunter, all these different type of bounty hunter shows. It's people bounty hunting people up there. And some of the criminals came to Earth to hide. With you might not believe this, and it had avatars. A lot of criminals are hiding on Earth. So, but now it's the beings have cornered them here. Some beings that cornered their ass here, the Galactic Police. Right? Because Nubaru is like a police station, really. And it's over 144 different types of species from different galaxies and different parts of this universe that are sit on a council that maintains essentially the peace and treaties and things of that nature in the galaxy. So certain beings that aren't supposed to be here, they essentially locked in through the Planetary light lock. We already broke that down, right? The Planetary light lock is mentioned of in our book, the Injil, which wasn't part of the Bible, right? Docus only tell us to read the book of John and the Injil, which is the book of Revelations. Uh, yeah, but in the Injil it talks about a great chain. Like it's Revelations 20, verse 1. The angel had a great chain. That chain is the Pleiadian light lock. We already broke that down. And so at this point, we were being the white supremacy part. You see, the white supremacy part is a cover up, but for the main part, the people who influence that agenda is an extraterrestrial group called Ashtar Command. People don't talk about Ashtar Command, the Pleiadians. They're not really Pleiadians, really. They really come from Cyrus. A lot of the people that we did beefing with come from Cyrus. Because and the reason why they come from Cyrus is because when Nubaru passed by Cyrus, burning out, draining their star, because Nubaru got a 22-mile antenna on the top, and it's got a dome at the top. They got these millions of micro pins of solar micro pins that absorb sunlight. And so when that's one of the mechanisms on how Nubaru power itself, right? It got other methods too, like magnetic energy and telekinesis, kinetic energy, and it's got another form of energy where it can pull 0 point, right? But they like using the sun stations. They set up, they actually, before they got that far on that technology, the technology of the 0 point energy, they first got hold of the solar energy. And so the stars really were sun stations to power their ships. And once so they got the power of these Anunnakis to create artificial stars. And so when they come by Nubaru in this, when they come by Cyrus B in this ship, it locks on till they start to recharge, boom, and burns it out. So all the clans that's on the planets around that star started a beef with, because some of their people got wiped out and didn't make it. And one of the groups that got their people got wiped out, and only a small amount made it, was these real reptilians who are really lizard. They really like anaconda with arms before they came here and got their arms took off. Remember they mentioned that up in Genesis where he says they're cursed, he gonna slide on the ground, the dust, right? But the ones on the ground, the real reptilians, they look like really like snakes with arms and legs. These real the hierarchy. And they come from Cyrus B, and they got a beef with the Anunnakis, right? Another group is the Nomos. One particular group, the Ashtar Command land group that's ran by this dude called Hatan. They are Greco lizard looking type of reptilians. We got tapes on them too. They also attacked, and then there was another group of Greys that a bad group of Greys that were slaves to another one of them races. They also followed them here, and they were connected with the marker beings. So but these real end up going to hook up with the Dragon Reptilians, who already got a beef going all the way back from when the war took place on Riz. So the Dragonians overall is after then it's a neutral race, but they back the Reptilians, and they really the parents of the Reptilians. They call the Canarians, and they the bad bird race of beings, and they worship the Nomos, those who claim to know the most, and that plays out in the setup of the Christian religion, which pretty much came to colonize the whole world, because most of the world, the biggest religion in the world is Christianity. And so the Pope walks around dressed like Dogon, the god Dogon, with a Nomos fish hat. Christians rock a fish on back of their car. And the Pope is followed around by a bird race called the Cardinals. And they wear red just like the cardinal bird. Why? Because these cardinals who spun these bad reptilians are their parent race. But they worship these beings, they worship their children. They worship these reptilian nomos people. And but they end up teaching the Dogons, they end up spinning into Christianity later. It's all dealing with the Zodakis, the motion of the sun with the son of God with his 12 disciples, which is really the 12 zodiacs. And that spins into they spin it all the way. They spin it all the way they can get it. Where he dies on the cross, which is really the winter solstice, the Southern Cross. And between the 23rd and 25th, he rises back. And then in the springtime, which is when the sun and God come back to 33 degrees longitude and pass over, when the Hebrews celebrate Passover, the sun passing over. It's all sun worship that they got that we taught them in ancient Kemet. Well, it really ain't sun worship. We just was star watchers because it was astronomy that one of the 200 fallen elves, one of the elves who came down, taught the humans how to watch the stars. Yeah, but like I was saying earlier, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad talked about life on other planets in our solar system. So just think about that. Your government went to Mars, but they failed. They failed on Mars because the reptilians, pretty much turned them into bologna sandwiches. The 200 people, it was like they tried to get up to 200,000 people over there on Mars. They had made deals with a couple other guys, but them guys was so that they weren't understanding they weren't understanding the treaty that these Earth humans made with them. So when the reptilians came, being that they scared of the reptilians too, the reptilians took all the humans and ate them. And I don't know if anybody survived. They made a movie about that too. It had Ice Cube in it. Yeah, when they on Mars, how everybody got eaten. Yeah, because you aren't supposed to be going to Mars, just like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said. Go on up, we'll bring you back. Yeah, we'll bring you back down. Yeah, they just said they went to the moon. Even I'm gonna tell you, man, this is the game that you guys were saying. Even though they showed you a moon landing and that shit really was a fake Hollywood moon landing, they was already on the moon. They was trying to keep the shit covered up. They was already on the moon. How you think when why you think they already knew what Hitler was up to down in Antarctica? Why you think they sent Operation High Jump and sent Admiral Byrd down there to go get at them boys to see what they was up with, what they had? And when Admiral Byrd went down there to get at them boys pulled out some saucers with with anti-tank guns mounted to them joints, and they moving with anti-gravity and shit over there. They come out like a beehive and start stinging niggas. Yeah, down up in the that's down in project. That's the Operation High Jump. Then later, when they essentially get rid of Hitler's clone, because Hitler survived and went down and live in Argentina. So he just died recently in the 2000s. Yeah, right. And then they made so many clones of them. Go watch a movie called Bars from Brazil. Doc used to always talk about it. Bars from Brazil. Do you know about the Iron Sky, right? That's the Fourth Reich. They continue. They continue, man. They just went underground and went to the dark side of the moon. They made a movie about that, right? Called Iron Sky. But essentially, America became the new Hitler machine. Not necessarily with Hitler behind the wheel, but they took Hitler's main components, all the scientists that were working on the shit, the mind control, right? They brought that over here. That's that assimilated into CIA, MK Ultra, CIA, mind control, and the Manchurian candidates, and programming these what they call assets to do all these hits overseas, Berlin, all these hits in Africa, like Laprice Lumumba. What's the other ones? Some of them they got their own home, they got their own people to pick them up, like Thomas Sakutarov, like this his name. Got his own people to pick him off, and now the dude Abraham Travas, I think that's his name. He's the one that's running it, and like so, Africans taking back over their land, but they all these people got picked off essentially by this same clan that spun from the Project Paperclip, which spuns the CIA. Yeah, so which was essentially spuns the CIA and spuns Majestic 12. This is we talking about around 1945, 1947, right around the same time when they discovered the Roswell crash. That's really when they started really hardening the Majestic 12 up to figure out, hey man, we knew about this. They really knew about extraterrestrial since the 1901 because they had some soldiers when they was raiding, like I think it was during like the Mexican wars or some of them wars down that way, down towards the Grand Canyon. They ran into a cave and they saw graves and they shipping them. They got into a shootout with the graves, and the graves walked them down. The graves walked them down, man. It seemed like to me, man, when you get in contact with these graves, when if you see them without them wanting you to see them, they walk you down, kidnap you or something. You heard about what happened when Enlil and them walked them, the Russian soldiers down. The Russian soldiers walked deep down in the cave. When they got in there, they saw Enlil and them putting together some type of device. Enlil moved his hand, and them boys pulled out plasma weapons, and they ended up shooting out like they in there in a shootout with Enlil and them, man. And then they tried to run, and Enlil told his guys to walk them boys down. They walked them down to the end of the cave. Only one dude made it out. Essentially, it's the story they give. But I'm telling you, man, yeah, man, I got the record, man. I got the recording on my hard drive. You don't remember I played it? It's a tape I put out called, like, I can't remember the name of it, but it's in the Anarchy files, and they got Enlil on there, and they got some niggas with a gun, like the Russian. Go watch that tape. I'll think of the name of it in a minute. It's something about Enlil attack Russian soldiers or something. That might be the name of it. Yeah, but I already put the clip out in that tape. So it happened a while back, but Enlil, them boys walked them down, them anarchists, they walking cats down with them plasma weapons. And then, not to mention it, I'm telling you, man. So we lead up to, like I was saying, the Project Paperclip, them getting that technology from Hitler. Hitler was already going to the moon. Hitler and them, when they left, when they got kicked out of Germany, essentially, and the Jews essentially round all of the guys that were left, they really got scraps left over, and other scientists that were the sucker scientists, and they hung all them guys. The Jews hung all them guys, right? But for war crimes, and essentially for stuff they say that happened to them, right, in the Holocaust. But the other scientists that got brought over here got essentially got a pass. And I believe this is one of the reasons why the American government is paying these Jewish people like incentives or hush money. It's hush money too, but it's more than hush money. It's like they paying them because you got them scientists, you cover for them, and so you cover for war crimes. You cover scientists for war crimes just to get technology from them, the atomic bomb and all this, essentially. But because that the missiles and all that, this dude, these German guys is involved with it. Right. So essentially they gotta pay them from this way from 1945 from these scientists. But the killing part about it is they erased the real truth on what was really happening if you get a book called The German Holocaust, you'll see that they were torturing Bantu people that was up in that lane, dropping bombs on them, making them smoke crack. Yeah, man, Hitler is the one that came. Hitler and them is the one that was smoking crack back in the 30s, man. They had Poland cracked out. Go get a thing called Operation Werewolf, man. Werewolf was selling more crack cocaine than Nino Brown and everybody, man, put together. He was selling more crack than Franklin was selling the Brown boy, but he was selling more than Big Meats, man. Back then, your boy Wolf. And your boy, yeah, I got a tape out of call. Yeah, Operation Werewolf, go look it up. And they had used crack as a weapon to immobilize the Polish people in the 1920s, 1930s. And when Project Paperclip came over, they brought in 1945, they brought that weapon over as a Freemason equipment, and it set on ice, and they didn't even know what it was until the late 60s. Well, then they started experiment with it in the monkey trials in the 70s. Yeah, man, and UCLA up in California, man. And they found out that, hey, Hitler used this same weapon to immobilize the Polish and the Bantu people in Germany. And you can go look this up. They offered to pay these people reparations, Germany, and they moved them down to South America. But these people said they don't want reparations. You can't pay them. That's the only way you can pay them is by going to hell. That's what they told Germany. The only way you can pay us back is by going to hell. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, man. So they brought Hitler was smoking 50s, man. You know what a 50 is? A 50-eye blast. You gotta be from the streets to know what I'm talking about, man. 50-eye blast. Hitler smoking 50s, man. Back in the day. Him and his old crew. And his old lady. Hitler and his old lady. They were blasting, boy. I'm telling you, man. And that's why that's why he really lost. That's why Hitler had to mind to take over the world before he started smoking crack. I'm telling you, man, crack was his downfall. But he made it out. He made it out, though. He made it out essentially in a submarine. They got him to Antarctica, then they got him to Argentina, where all of them go and hide out at. That's where all of these elites hide out at down in Argentina, thinking that because you can hide under them rocks and shit, man. But these people got bunker busters. They got thermonuclear drill bombs that can drill down in the ground with a time on it and blow up like a mountain. They ain't worried about you hiding under in your bunker. That ain't nothing. Now Hitler was a mulatto, and Hitler actually came clean in some of his quotes and said that the gods or the children of God or the people that's the gods are in America, and this came after he spent years trying to get together his superior Aryan race, just like Yaku. Right, Yaku wanted to get a superior race together, but Hitler wanted to get his superior race together based on the ideology that Ashtar Command gave him in exchange for the technology. But when he put this race together and then took him to the Olympics, I think Jesse Owens, I don't know if I can't remember if he was from Ohio or what, but a country boy named Jesse Owens dusted his superior white supremacy race that he designed, dusted they behind off, and Hitler them left there crying, man. And I had to go back to the drawing board and say, oh yeah, we can't beat these Negroes out of America, man. They're the strongest bunch around. Their genetics is too powerful. That's what Hitler said. Yeah, their genetics is powerful. The American Negro. He went on to claim that the U.S. don't know what they got over there in the black Negro. Yeah, the U.S. know what they got. That's why they study running their game. That's why they ran their game. Man, it's a whole level. Hey, look, it's different levels to this shit. They just recently did us, man. I believe they recently finished us off and got us to where they wanted us after the 1960s. Because think about this, in the 1960s, we weren't really shooting each other up like it is now. And then the CIA created gangster rap. It's a CIA ops. And that's why they was getting Easy to the White House. That's why they promoted these guys. Jerry Heller and them was connected with the Jews. Yeah, and they promoted and what his name is, Jimmy Iovine at Interscope. Yeah, man. They all, this is the guys, the Zionist guys. This is their puppet machine, and it's a part of mind control. Okay, so remember I told you Hitler and them came over, and Hitler and them was already working with the MK Ultra. They passed that to the crooks in action. You call them the CIA, right? They really the Knights of Templar. Really, that's what they really are. And they came out and you started and spread the different methods out of how to use this mind control. You thinking that they had to get you in the room and hold you down and wiggle, hold of the clock or something and wiggle you out into your imagination. Nah, these niggas created the TV. That's one of the box. That box is a hypnosis device used by the CIA. They created Hollywood. The CIA created Hollywood. Knights of Templar control Hollywood, and they control all the scripts. And most of the scripts, a lot of the shit is based. Some of the stuff like they be showing you about government and extraterrestrial, it be real reenactments. Blacked out scripts, but they leave what they want them to talk about, and they give it to the director's chair, and they get their writers to write a movie about it, or write a sitcom series about it. Yeah, the Knights of Templar, and then from there they control the music business, and they executed all the people that had certain frequencies, like Marvin Gaye and Donny Hathaway, and Bob Marley and Jimi Hendrix, who these people who sent an energy, a love frequency out, a peace energy. Boom, they got to get rid of them, and they got to bring in the Easy E's. They got to get rid of Public Enemy. They got to get rid of the old groups that were speaking political injustice. And they got to bring in selling crack and getting robbed and hitting them with a 12 gauge, cruising down the street in my 6'4", man, jocking them, macking them. Went to the park to get the scoop. Knuckleheads out there, cold shooting some hoops. Car pulls up. Who can it be? A fresh El Camino rolling Kilo G. He rolled down the window and he started to say, "It's all about making that GTA." Meaning he stole that damn car. Car theft, then crack hit. Because they got the dope, man. Easy eating and put out the dope, man. So crack cocaine, like this bring me back to Hitler in the Project Paperclip. Remember, I told you they came over with they had already cracked out Poland as a weaponized, as a man, hit like a that shit hit like a time bomb or some kind of bomb, man, nuclear blast in Poland and wiped them out. When Hitler and them rolled in to take over their country, man, they didn't even put up a fight. They just said, "Man, give us some old crack." They told, yeah, because Werewolf was Hitler's old right hand man, and they just say, "Hey, man, we don't want you can have the country. Hey, man, tell Werewolf cook us some more crack." Yeah, because Hitler and them had went on started hit when they what they did is they cracked them out and then they put them on a drought. Yeah, man, they put them on a drought. Yeah, I'm serious as all get out, man. Go pull up Operation Werewolf. You think I'm making this shit up? They cracked the Poland's out. And then after they cracked him out, they cut him off for like a week or two on the crack, and then rolled in on them and took over their country. And then all they was begging for when they said, man, we ain't fighting. You can have the country. Look here, man. Well, werewolf it. Well, werewolf it, man. Werewolf tell him we need some more of that shit that he cooking. Yeah, we need some more of that good crack, man. Yeah, man. And they brought that same method and hit us with it in the early 80s. But after they had tested it on monkeys in the monkey trials in LA. And they saw what it would do to the monkeys. They saw the monkey would really hit the crack, then eat. The monkey would rather hit the crack, then go and spend time with his family. So they used that as a weapon on us, man. The CIA. And they were the ones that were bringing the shit in. They were the ones that were put with Noriega, with your boy Pablo Escobar. These boys were CIA plugs. I'm telling you, man. And just like this last guy they just put out of business, who ended up bucking them and shooting down some of the CIA planes and killing some of their agents. That's why he got a $10 million hit on him. You know what I'm saying? They put him out of business. And then the rest of the guys gonna line up because the like remember Rod told you about the Umbrella Corporation. Well, the Umbrella Corporation, if you go pull it side by side with the Knights of Templar symbol, you'll see what it is. With the red cross, with the Rothschilds, with the flag from Switzerland, with the flag, the Corsican flag with the more heads on it. Line all of them up side by side and look at the correlation. Then remember that these guys who was with the Rainbow Corporation and Residential Evil were alchemists, because these Knights of Templar are alchemists. That's why they deal with the drugs. They chemists. I'm telling you, man. You remember Mossad? I can't remember, like, I think his name was Mossad 21, that was on that Bumpy Johnson. In the series of Bumpy Johnson, he break down who was bringing the dope. It was the pirates. The pirates from the Corsicans. They were the plug. Because the whole time that black dude was the plug and the white dude was the front man. And then once Bumpy found out he's working for the feds, for the FTA or whoever, he picked the white boy off. And then the black dude was like the real from Air Madrid. He was the real plug. He was from Air Madrid, but based out of France. They give you all the connections right up in that movie, in the series, man. He was from Air Madrid, but he based out of France, and he delivering a whole truckload, 10,000 kilos of doogie. That's what they call it. It's that H, that brown. They keep you down. And if you don't got it, it make you sick. Yeah, but they were the Dirty Moors were the ones that were moving the drugs. But they connect with these Knights of Templars, CIA guys, who essentially with George W. Bush and them and Clinton them, you know about Cocaine Bill, right? And what's the dude name they put the play on that was the pilot? Bobby Seale, is that his name? Bobby Seale? Is it that dude name? They made a movie about it with Tom Cruise. But everybody that was involved that could have led back to the Clintons got a bullet in the back of the head. Y'all remember that? Go back and look at what happened to Bobby Seale. He got caught slumped in his Cadillac with a bullet in his head. Once the story got out. Yeah, he was the pilot for Cocaine Bill. Yeah, man. And the whole operation. And your boy Obama comes from Lolo Sorrento and them, and his mama and them was CIA. And Lolo was that nigga had a whole zoo in his backyard. And look, yeah, he had a whole zoo with zebras and yeah, Obama was living like that as a kid. With he playing with elephants in the backyard like Eddie Murphy on Coming to America. Yeah, when he's a kid. And because Lolo was the plug on the doogie for Bill Clinton, I mean for old man George Bush, who's the head of the CIA. And that's how he know Obama and them, because he used to give Obama's and he used to go over there and visit Lolo Sorrento. Yeah. I'm telling you, man. And so, boom, they put the play on him too, though. They ended up getting rid of Lolo Sorrento too, though. And then Obama, in some kind of way, finagled his way up to be president under the guise of Big Daddy Bush. But man, he was trained by Big Daddy Bush since he was a kid. His mama was an asset for Big Daddy Bush. Big Daddy Bush flipped on him though. He was a double agent. In 1992, he secretly signed some paperwork that was going against the New World Order agenda secretly, and then he passed out letters at his funeral saying they know everything. I told them, or they know everything. We're gonna go down. And then right after that, everybody started getting arrested and hiding out and bringing out their clones, man, rolling out their clones to take their place and synthetics. Some of these people escaped and went back to Andromedans because they really Andromedan humanoids that came here. Go watch a movie called They Live. They tell you in that movie that they want to have the world taken over by 2025. And when he put on his glasses, he can see what they really look like. They look like dead people. But if you see them, if you're without them glasses, they look like regular people. But when you put on the glasses, they look like dead people. And when he went underground and snuck in that facility, because they really were extraterrestrials and they were coming here through an underground. They had a Stargate underground that they were coming here through a Stargate, and then began taking over the surface. Yeah. Yeah, Big Daddy Bush was I don't know if he was his godfather, but I know he been there right there with him since he was a kid. Through the CIA. Big Obama is CIA. For sure, for sure. His whole family, his granddad, his mama, which we have reason to believe that wasn't even his real mama. That's another thing. Because it's another storyline going around about Obama's real mother. So it's something else. It's a whole bunch of stuff tying into that. What about the Bohemian Grove? The Bohemian Grove essentially is Tahuti's order, but it been usurped by Luciferians. So the Bohemian Grove essentially started out as a good order, but it would been just like Freemasonry started out as a good order. But for the most part, now it's all this shit has been infiltrated by the Luciferians, who Adam White saw, who some people say is Albert Pike. They began infiltrating all these organizations in 1772. Yeah, and they have successfully infiltrated the Bohemian Grove, the Council of Foreign Relations, the U.S. government, the Freemason Lodge, Scottish Rites, and York Rites. They ain't worried about the Prince Halls because they feel like they don't even really count the Prince Halls. These guys, they don't even really look at y'all like no Masons because they still follow the Albert Pike was a real racist for real. And even in his letters, he said that the day that a Negro could be a Mason, that's the day that he get out of Masonry. That's what Albert Pike said. Yeah, so yeah. So in Albert Pike, yeah, go look it up. You don't gotta believe me. Albert Pike said, yeah, the day the Negroes be a Mason is the day he get out of it. And he the one that wrote they stole the 22 tablets, right? They stole 11 tablets, and then 22 from the create the York Rites, and then they brought the other 22 in and set up the Scottish Rites. And it's really all honorary studies because originally it's only 3 degrees. It's really under 3 degrees, but then if you go within the 3, you could go to the 720, and then what it is it's the 180, it's the 360 or it's 364 times. I mean 184 times, and they come out to be 720 degrees. So in some orders they talk about the 720 degrees, but with Albert Pike now they mention of the 32nd and 33rd degrees, which 32 is freezing. 33 is still walking around like a dog because 90 degrees is really square. But that's a whole nother topic. But it's extraterrestrial influence dealing with all of this because, and it's supposed to be a little. They claim to be magicians. These guys in the lodge, you know, they wear top hat, gloves. They look like magicians, but don't know no magic. You know what I'm saying? The worshipful masters. At least the ones in the Prince Halls, they ain't messing with the magic like these guys in the Blue Lodge, Scottish Rites, who got real magic, because magic is science and magnetism. And the guys in the Scottish Rite Lodge, they 32nd, 33rd, they got the looking glass. They got the looking glass, man. So what y'all Prince Halls got? These guys got a looking glass. You probably don't even know what the hell a looking glass is, half of these Prince Halls. So I mentioned it. Well, I'll tell you what, we got you ain't look. Go to my different extraterrestrial playlist and then scroll down to the looking glass and watch that video. That's what they got, and they told you they decommissioning it, but they still using it. They got all the patents to all the inventions that's worth anything. Because when you get your shit patent, you gotta go through the Jason Society. Yeah. It's the same, and that's the same guys. The Majestic 12, it's the same guys. CIA. The blue beans. Which blue beans you talking about? Are you talking about the blue avian bird race? Or are you talking about the Arcturians that Alex Collier talk about? So the ones that Alex Collier talk about, they are Plateians, really. And they really come from a galaxy called Ilium that a planet got attacked. They had 18 planets, 19 planets, and they had 19 different tribes. When these tribes left, before they left Riz, they had a different look. But then when they went to other galaxies, one of the groups went to Pleiades, one of the groups went to Orion. But the group that went to Pleiades, they inherited the blue looking skin, and some of them they got different colors, like from lighter blue to dark blue, and some even get into a dark, like a purple, right? So that's the one group, and so they really Riskians are people from Ilium, and that had to vacate that area and went to go live in that, and so they here and assisting in the same sense as the blue avians with the ascension process, because Earth is Project Blue Rock, and so it's it's a whole bunch of different species here in one setting, when most of the planets in your galaxy not like that. And then it's people, and then in most of the planets in your galaxy, people live on the center of their planet instead of the surface. So if you look up, and now they're releasing some of these photos now. If you look up the hole in top of Jupiter or the hole in top of Saturn, you'll see that all your planets got a hole in the top. Your planet got a hole in the top where you can enter to the center Earth, which is Shambhala and Ottaga. We got tapes out on it. The other side, what they calling the other side of the ice wall, right? Well, like all your planets in your solar system has got a hole in the top, and the people live in the center. So now you're overseeing, if you zooming in to the surface of a gas, what they telling you is a gas giant, right? It's only because their technology with a certain frequency can't, unless they can go and capture some of that shit and bring it back, they can use their microscopic technology to see the beings living in the gas, pretty much. It's my Jupiter's a gas giant, Saturn is a gas giant. Yeah, so what's the purpose of it if it's just a gas giant? Or are you bullshitting us, and then you all want to tell us there's people living there? Because then what would that do for the whole this whole Spanish Inquisition and this this Christianity and all these different religious concepts that they created to trap to trap you in, to keep you serving and worshiping some God when you are God, right? And so that's why it's another group that's a part of that CIA group, and they work hand in hand essentially for a while until the goal. The Jesuits, they call it Jesuits. The Jesuits are a part of the Jason Society, the ones I was telling you about that check the technology out. All right, so these Jesuits, they the ones that's responsible for like not releasing a lot of information. They the ones that hold the information secret, right? Because they protect the church. They protect the storyline of Jesus that they created in the Nicene Council in 325. They got a oath, a Nicene creed, these creeds, right? These oaths to protect this information, protect the church, protect the Pope. So they can't let certain information any information that's being found out that could kind of contradict their story, which is a lot of shit already out already. But any information that could come out that contradict their story, they send these guys are the guys responsible for make silence in the people, or putting them out of business, etc. The Jesuits, and they set up schools all around, and they keep an eye on certain prospects, and then they pull them into this secret order called the Jesuits. But they connect with the Knights. But then after a certain point of period of time, and it's kind of like after Cortez discovered got all the gold. Cortez was the Knights of Templar. This caused a split where the Pope, once the Pope found out they were stashing gold, the Pope put a play on the Knights of Templar. So now some of the Knights of Templar are being accused as witches and warlocks and being burned at the stake. So this started a shift in the connection between the Knights and the church. So the Jesuits became that trusted bunch, over the Knights during this time. But the Knights had control of the gold. The Knights still got control of the gold, and the Jesuits got control over the information. Because they can't let certain information come out. But it's like we at the time now where it's a wrap, right? They don't gotta let it come out. It's already out. Like they tried to hold it in for so long. It was like a busted dam. Once that dam broke, this shit just rolled all the way out, right? So essentially, that's the guys, like I said, that's doing all the covering up. They the ones that make sure the Smithsonian Institute stay locked down tight, because the shit that they got up in now, were pretty much the church would be non-existent if they roll out at least half the shit they got in the Smithsonian Institute. The church wouldn't last for another 90 days. It'll be like people will be asking so many questions that they'll fall apart. They hanging on by a thread, man. And I mean, in these days, you gotta realize too, a lot of people here are Cabbage Patch Kids, incubators, babies. You like we watch some shit where a dude killed his whole family and then act like he don't know what happened. And then if you look at him, he look like one of them soulless beings. That's why, like, a lot, if you look at all of the crime, you say, damn, man, some crazy shit he didn't went in there and like did what he did. He killed his kids and drowned all. Like, then you think it like, damn, he could be one of them is he one of them Cabbage Patch Kids, them soulless beings? And then he don't, when the cops interviewing him, he don't got no emotional no emotion on his face. That's like a soulless being. So yeah, we gotta avoid them cats. We gotta avoid them cats. They just here walking around, just here, man. And at any time they can be activated or turned because those really they create. That's what it was a bigger agenda behind the Cabbage Patch Kids than what we think. It wasn't just about. It was about increasing their population, but who are these people? Luciferians. See these when you create an empty vessel like that with no soul and no spirit, really. I guess they have a spirit, but it ain't like ours, right? But that it leaves room for these other beings, these interdimensional beings who can come into this realm. It leaves room for them to walk into them beings and activate them easier. That's really what it was about. It was about creating bodies and pumping all getting enough bodies over here to where the Luciferians can use those bodies to torture us and pretty much to sabotage our whole operation. That's what I think. Those Cabbage Patch Kids, and I believe that that these dark skinned jokers who are the real devils, they use that as a method of creating soldiers, pretty much super soldiers that these demons can come into, or these spirit interdimensional beings, and then use them to terrorize this. Like they could come in now and terrorize because you gotta think about some of the shit they was doing, like the picker niggas, where they burn, cut the ears off and cut body parts off and keep them as souvenirs. The Willie Lynch letter, like different stuff that they was doing. It couldn't. You can't be human. You got to be a real live gene to do some of the stuff that they was doing. As far as once the war broke out and how they was doing us, as far as lynching us and all that on the land, man. So this is an extraterrestrial involvement. And like I always say, pure evil will always go down. Pure evil never wins, man. I ain't never seen pure evil not go down eventually. Like it's a dude that was on the run. It's a dude that killed a lady 40 years ago, and then the police pull up on him, arrest him, and give him life in prison. 40 years ago, because they DNA changed, right? So they got the DNA on this guy, boom, pull him up, arrest him. He almost old as hell. They didn't gave him 50 years. So pure evil shit always what goes around, like that shit is true, man. What you reap, what you sow, all that shit is true. Because we in a computer simulation and it's written into the codes. I'm telling you, man. Everything is a fucking, like, just like on a matrix when you see them codes running down the screen. This shit is a code. Everything has a code. Some people in this fucking computer reality, they have figured out the cheat code, it's different type of cheat code. It's a cheat code to get guns. It's a cheat code to get counterfeit money. It's a cheat code, but if you get caught fucking with the cheat codes, you could get kicked out of the game. You know what I'm saying? This shit is a game. But some people find a cheat code to get money, and they become millionaires overnight because they found the cheat code, the glitch in the machine. Some people find the glitch. Some people find it's different types. It's a whole bunch of different cheat codes, right? But and most of the people that make it to the top, if at one point or another use one or two of those cheat codes, I'm telling you, man, in this world, you got to claw your way to the top if you want to. Now, if you ain't interested in being at the top, right? That's a different story. But the people that make it to the top, they claw and scream and kick their way to the top. I'm telling you, man. And this group, because that's what type of world we're in. You think J.P. Morgan and all of them stayed on top? Because they're trying to say that it's a conspiracy about the Titanic, 1912. Just so happened the Panama Act is going on at the same time. But in 1912, They saying J.P. Morgan put the play on them boys, so they wouldn't, because they opposed the central bank, and they still got the central bank set up in 1913. All this shit is fraud, really though. Everything they did, like these people really running fraud on our land. These federal guys. These federal guys is just as federal as FedEx. I'm telling you, man. It's be just as like, yeah, I'm telling you. They running this is it's the biggest. They done brought people over, train them on how to be us, and then then change the name of their tribe and change the name of our tribe, the wording of it, and then incorporate them on the federal jurisdiction, and then tell them as a baby that they the people that's the real people, while our people is written out as black, Negroes, and colors. And they still our tribe, still our culture, and then leave us out in the dark, and then tell us we just crazy Negroes, man, from Africa. There's some crazy Negroes from Africa. Yeah, man. But the gig is up. Yeah. The gig is up, man. J.P. Morgan is an heir to Barron. The Rothschilds, all of them, they heir to Barons. They are middleman for the real reptilians. They come out of heir to Barron. J.P. Morgan is essentially the guy that they modeled the Monopoly game after, because he owns so many different avenues and businesses: the steel, the railroads, right? The utility companies. He owned utility companies. Hell, he owned the Titanic that they sunk, and he got insurance on it right before they put it out of business. What that tell you? Yeah, I'm telling you, man. He owned hotels, this and that, right? Under different aliases or mother companies. Right? And so they modeled the Monopoly game out of this guy. And you think that he got to the top like that without being ruthless? And you think that he ain't extraterrestrial? Some of these cats is Venerians, and some of them, and really the Venerians and Aldebarans really are the same people. But the ones that went to Venus essentially was good people, because they were refugees who tried to escape their reptilian overlords, and they landed on Venus, and they come over essentially and trying to help the government. Remember, I told you, go look up Val and Thor. We got tapes on them already in the different extraterrestrial playlists. But essentially, what happens is Val Thor was with Eisenhower at Dorsey Air Force Base in 1954. Not what Dorsey, it was Edwards. They had another meeting at Dorsey though, but the first one was at Edwards. And essentially Val Thor was there with him, and he told them, don't get booty with the Grays. The Grays they don't do good when you get booty with them. Yeah, don't get booty with the Grays. And then he told them, don't get booty with the Ashtar Command. The Ashtar Command, they take booty, man. They don't do right. They don't do right when you give them no booty. Yeah, that's what Val and Thor told Eisenhower. But what did Eisenhower do? Eisenhower, because the Ashtar Command wasn't offering no technology, they was just offering pennies. Like they really gave Eisenhower a stack like this chip that had the quantum financial system on it, and the government used some of that. That's how they set up the electronic money system, like the credit card system. They got that from Ashtar Command, but because Ashtar Command had that on their planet, right? But what really intrigued them, because they ain't want to do they ain't want to do business with Ashtar Command, because Ashtar Command scared them. They look humans. They look too human, man. And these guys walking around, at some time they could come down and walk around like Ric Flair and them. Because Ric Flair, you go look up the story of Ric Flair. And a lot of these people, how they sneak in is that they be adopted. Like just like the Superman story. Superman got adopted, he just pop up out of nowhere. Well, go study Ric Flair story. Ric Flair just get adopted, he pop up out of nowhere. He's an Ashtar Command. Look at his hair. Yeah, Ric Flair's Ashtar Command. Whoo! What do he say? Willing and Dylan, Cadillac limousine riding, diamond ring win, Rolex win. Yeah, that nigga is a Ric Flair's Ashtar Command. And yeah, what else we was gonna say? Yeah, but they were scared of them guys. But Eisenhower ended up taking a deal with the marker beings to adopt a certain amount of humans. I think it was 250,000 or 500,000 humans in exchange for technology. And one of the first pieces that they gave over to Eisenhower was this black Orion cube, which the government still ain't figured out how the shit works. They just got it locked up in the underground facility in the Cheyenne complex. That's in Colorado, where they got the Stargate. One of the Stargates hit. They made a movie about it called Stargates. And you think that shit is make believe? Boy, they got your ass, didn't it? Movies like my teacher Atun Ray used to say, movies are designed to move you and me. You know what I'm saying? Movies are designed, and that's why they got a tag that come with it. Whether it's a drama, well, drama is drama steers you in a certain direction, don't it? And then they got horror. Horror it steers you in a certain direction. Comedy. So what are they telling you when they put these type of movies out and then they label it as science fiction, which is an oxy goddamn moron? Science mean fiction means hey, it's make believe. Ain't nothing make believe about science. So that's an oxymoron. Or if they can't, once they see you onto the science fiction game, that hey man, this ain't no science fiction, this shit is real. And then they say, oh yeah, well it's comedy. They put comedy on it, just like they did the Coneheads. When we got the Conehead skulls, and we got the ancient Egyptians with cone, bowling pin, headdress. Yeah, like Pharaoh, Huni, and Sneferu, them niggas got cone heads. Go pull them up. Osiris, he had a cone head. You know what I'm saying? How long these cone heads? Because they said that these guys crashed their ship here 50,000 years ago in Greenland. I'm telling you, man. So you gotta go out and understand that the extraterrestrial influence go back predate the guys that's trying to cover it up by a long time, man. I'm telling you, a long ass time. I'm talking about a long ass. That's why they really want you to know about, because somebody was asking about the Hebrew Bible. I mean, not the Hebrew Bible. They was asking about the Ethiopian Bible. The Ethiopian Bible give you a lot of it's 88 books in there versus the 66 books you get in the King James, or the 72, I think is in the Catholic versions. But it gives you more of the extraterrestrial connection between we've been connecting with extraterrestrials for a long ass time before the colonizers came. And that's really what some of the mounds are, landing pads for extraterrestrials. The same ones who taught us how to build them, who are actually our family members. Because we got extraterrestrial DNA, the Moors. We got extraterrestrial DNA. And that's what that's what gave us the upgrade. And that's why they wanted to conquer us and take us down. The gods. They wanted to sack the gods. The elves. That's what God really is, the elves. We the elves. Mother sucker, I'm ill. Yeah, mother sucker, I'm ill. Yeah, so what we're trying to get over to you here is that there's different types of extraterrestrials that's been involved with this. Some are good, some are bad. But overall, we're fighting with a heavily infiltrated type guys who are infiltrated us, who are really Luciferians, and they got different color skin. They can come as black, Chinese, so-called white, right? We know all these black, white, and all this is ethnic Carlos Linnaeus games, right? That he set up to create these ethnic groups, but but they can come in any type of skin form. They can come in any type of uniform, these Luciferians, because they have infiltrated everything, the police, the KKK. It's some good KKK guys. You might not believe it, but the Luciferians have infiltrated them and made their way to. Not only do they infiltrate all organizations that they can infiltrate, they wiggle and they wiggle and slide and sleaze their way all the way to the top, man, to take over the whole organization. Because they know with their method, the one apple spoils the whole. One bad apple can spoil the whole bunch. So once they weave and wiggle their way in and get that one apple in there, it's time for him to spoil the whole bunch. I'm telling you, man. And this is pretty much their whole takedown method that the COINTELPRO adopted that method, and they would infiltrate the Black Panthers and all these different groups, and then do what they call illegal entries. What the illegal entries is they would begin to they did the same thing in Malachi too. Dr. Malachi Z. York, right? They would infiltrate the organization and then do illegal entries. So it's like this. Give you an example. One guy infiltrated the Black Panthers in California. Then he convinced them, he gave them the idea that they can break into armory and steal guns and steal all these guns so they could get more guns. But he got that, he actually was an informant, and the FBI gave him that information so they can build a case against the Black Panthers. So they were being set up. They use entrapment to get the Black Panthers. It's really, that's what illegal entry is entrapment, right? They use the same thing with Jeff Fort, where they try to say that he was trying to buy a rocket launcher from a federal prison. These motherfuckers so funny, bro. He had a federal prison, and they saying that he trying to buy a rocket launcher. Come on, man. Come on, man. That shit is funny, man, how these guys set our people up and then say that's the story, and you got to just go with it. And you don't got no evidence to prove nothing else but what we told you. Why? Because you got all of that. You wiped all the evidence out. That's why. Set that brother up, and that brother ain't never made no connections to no damn rocket launcher. You know what I'm saying? And then tried him with a foreign government saying that he a terrorist and he was plotting to blow up somebody. That's the whole game, man. I'm talking about the El Rookin, Jeff Fort. But they infiltrated you, and then they actually infiltrated the El Rookins and then started selling crack. And then so when the dude that's an infiltrator get caught selling crack, and then he say he an El Rookin, that one bad apple now can say, oh yeah, all the El Rookins sell crack. And they're a crack organization now, because this one guy is selling crack, and see, all of them sell crack. Yeah, that's the type of games they was running, man. They do that's the type of infiltration. So if you got an organization, if you setting up an organization in this day and time, I say you crazy, because that shit don't work. That shit don't work unless you fall in the format of the nation or something like that. But it really, like, it's too late to set up that type of organization. But if you are doing it and you want to do it, and it's in your heart to do it, make sure that when the people you join, they get to join, make sure they go through a background check like they join the biker gang and the CIA. The CIA run a lot of tests on you when you join. The biker gang, they want to know your mama. They want to go to your house where you live at, meet your kids before you even join. They want to know everything about you. So if you got an organization and the person joining, you want to know everything about them. You want to know what color their shit is, and if it got corn in it, if they join you. nowadays because of the infiltration and the Luciferian agenda, right? So that's to anybody out there that's setting up that type of thing where you got setting up an organization because you saw they did the doc, you saw they did the Class 13X, saw that they did the Marcus Garvey. They set him up for mail fraud, expedited him. We don't know if he even made it back to Jamaica. They could have threw him off the plane when they was halfway to Jamaica. We don't even know if he made it back. Right? I'm telling you, man. W.D. Du Bois was an informant for the Killer Clowns. He was the one on the writing the campaign, the Marcus Garvey smear campaign. Yeah, man. And he was the one instrumental in any artist that bucked the system against these killer clowns. W.D. Du Bois was the head guy into writing up or starting a campaign to take them down. And so he was, to me, he's FBI. And he was the first, he was in on the Pan-African thing, trying to make us think that we were from Africa. Yeah, the Pan-African, he was instrumental, like in 1919 and the 1900s. He was involved with all of it in London. And they were going up back and forth to London to hook up with them guys, that would meet up with these same guys who would later would set up the Federal Reserve and all this shit. Yeah, so and he looked like it. So W.D. Du Bois looked like us, but he wasn't us. I'm telling you, man. And it's a long list of other niggas. What about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was the he was the forerunner, man, for Dr. Malachi Z. York, because the shit that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had it's the reason why the nation is still around now. See what I'm saying? That nigga, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad came with Islam civics. Score some shit yourself. Sell to your own people. Do for self. Do for self and kind. Man, that was bad. Come on, man. Don't get no planet than that. Score that shit, sell it to your partner. Whatever he got, buy what he got. Pretty much the bartering, he was taking it back to the bartering in our own community, which they tried to stop us from doing it. You got to keep in mind what happened with the boycott. And you already know a lot that Martin Luther King was a Freemason and essentially started out as an agent and then turned on him. That's what got him killed. But he was instrumental in the Rosa Parks thing. And when they boycotted that bus thing and were going to set up their own bus company, which they already had, they was going to just ramp it up, right? Man, them people came in and said, no, they begged them not to set up their own. They wanted them to still come and spend their money with them. Look, if the shit would have went down like it's supposed to went down with the Rosa Parks thing, the white man would have been put out of business. His bus would have went out of business in less than a couple of weeks, and they would have had a new Nubian on, because I don't really like the word black. You know, they play games with it. They would have had a new Nubian on bus station owned by us, ran by us. We ain't need nothing from them. But when they found out they was gonna ramp that shit up, the government came in. And certain Freemasons and Shriners, killer clowns, came in and then said, nah, man, y'all gotta we'll let y'all sit on the front of the bus and give y'all a discount. Nah, see what they should have did is what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said is they got and kept doing for their own. But what they did is they went right back to the guys, the same guys who oppressed them. That's what Malcolm X was saying. He said, man, when you go to your oppressor to ask for, you know what I'm saying, help, what you think they're going to do? You go to your enemy for help, what you think they're going to do? Right? And that's what civil rights is, going to your enemy for help versus human rights. And that's what Malcolm X was preaching. Right? But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was next level shit, man. You talking about a dude back then talking about how much the planet weighed. and telling you, man, Elijah Muhammad I'm gonna tell you what made Elijah Muhammad so powerful is he had a natural level of a high level of common sense. And then when somebody like Master Farad Muhammad come along, who's real educated, spoke languages, knew what books to read, knew a lot of secret information because he really was an agent. I believe he was a good agent, right? To come in and give us a leg up in a way, because we got Nation of Islam really is a leg up for us in a way. So he schooled the Honorable Elijah Muhammad for 3 years, he said, I think it was. And boom, gave him all these books to read, told him about the mother plane. And I got evidence of the mother planes up there. So seems like to me, man, we ain't lose no traction with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We gained traction. And if we would have listened to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad on doing for self and really digest the message to the black man, we'll be already running the world by now. I'm telling you, we'll be already running the world by now if we would have listened to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Nubians would be running the world right now. And I mean, we love Malcolm X, but we so hate that he turned against the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, because I mean, I see what his aim was, and he was a fiery young brother, and he eventually, had his own path. But I sure hate that he turned. That's what really got him took out, man. He would have never got took out if he just would have listened to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And the Nation of Islam didn't take Malcolm X out. The government, the CIA did. The Knights of Templar. Why? Because he was hooking up with a Pinto, and he about to go to the UN and give a speech on human rights and civil rights, and file charges against the United States courts, and they couldn't let that go down. And he had a nationality, and he unplugged from their U.S. citizenship. So he was dangerous, man. He had to go, man. He had people following him. Yeah, man. He was one of the most dangerous guys during that time. So they got him up out of there, I think, for Martin Luther King. Yeah, man. So, but this is an extraterrestrial involvement. We're talking about some elder barons who out to steal our planet because they are planet poachers and they have no home. Because God promised them some land, the promised land, and they still ain't got no land. The land that they own now over there, they created in 1945, and they stole parts of them people land over there. You see what I'm saying? So they've been looking for land. They've been looking, and so since they don't got no land, they say, well, nobody should have no land. So that's where they created this artificial person, all this trust, where they label people dead after you 7 years old, according to your and this artificial stimulated entity is created so they can do business with you on a commercial level. It's game the whole time, man. And it's extraterrestrials involved with this, which is why they talking about in God we trust. Well, who is God? Because my definition of God is whoever's in control. But what God is they talking about? Is they talking about Lucifer? Right? The destroyer of the circle? Because, man, this is it's Luciferian agenda, man. Against the ills. So they infiltrated, they dropped the Luciferians in the back fixing your burger at your favorite restaurant. The Luciferians are driving your kids to school on a bus. The Luciferians are one of the teachers at your school, man. And that's why they pick on your kids and pick your kid out. And always giving your kid they got 2 different tests. They give your kid the harder test. But what don't kill you make you stronger. And if you put pressure busts a pipe. And resistance equals growth. Because I went to a new, and I said, hey, new man, they holding us back. They shadow banned us. And he said, resistance equals growth. And that nigga, that was like we was at 30,000. We are at 95,000 now, nigga. They been shadow banning us, we still going up. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you. Non-stop action. I'm telling you, man. We about to hit 100,000 on them in like a month or two. So, yeah, resistance equals growth. So somebody holding you down, hey, man, they just making you stronger. Especially if you don't, all you got to do is don't never quit. Keep getting up. Keep moving forward. And don't worry about the past. That's like driving, looking in the rearview mirror. Can you drive your car solely looking in the rearview mirror? So all them suckers in the past that thought they played you, or thought they got over on you, or thought that they, you know what I'm saying, they burned that bridge with you and that was a good thing. They see now. You know what I'm saying? Because you keep on going. They don't want no monkey, don't no other monkeys stop your show, especially no one monkey. You know what I'm saying? Stop your show, man. Just keep on rolling. I'm telling you, man. Don't let them stop you. Keep it moving. Keep it going. Don't get too emotional in this world because that's what it's all about. They want us to get emotional so they can make us react. They want to get your emotions up in any situation. Don't always control your emotions and sit and think, because we playing chess, not checkers. You can be all emotional and get hype and checkers and hopping over niggas, but in chess you got to sit there. In chess you got to sit there and think. So don't get emotional. Sit when some shit happen. Don't panic. Sit there and think, and then get your react. Don't react. Some shit you might have to react fast, like, you know, somebody drowning, you jump in and save them. But some people have jumped in to save them people and they drown, and the other person lives. Why? Because if you don't know how to handle somebody that's don't know how to swim and they panic and they'll drown your ass when you jump up in there. Right? So what you gotta do is you gotta always think shit out. So me, I said, well, this mother don't know how to swim. I'm gonna throw them something first to hold on to. So when I get in there to go get them, they won't be holding me down up in there. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be thinking, you can't just jump out shit and head first. A lot of guys in jail right now for some dumb shit that they said, damn, man, if I would have just sit there and thought for a second, I wouldn't be here in this particular. Yeah, because you gotta, that's what the Luciferians, hey man, you don't got time to think, just go and do it. That's why they created this fast food. They want to do everything fast. This is, man, I gotta have it right now. Shit, man. You want to heal? Oh, just cut it out. They cut the kidney out, cut this out, cut that out. Instead of going through the process, what it's always a process where that part can be healed, but they rather cut it out because they can make money off of that part. That's what it's about. It's a greed system that's going down for the count, man. The fat lady has sung on this system. It's a parasitic system that has ran its course. It can't go no longer because people don't want it. People don't agree, man. People don't agree with this no more by default. People don't agree with the type of shit, man. We don't agree with the whole system and how it's ran. It's got to be restructured based on divine love and divine truth, because it can't survive in this era. Man, we about to get up out of here. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button, man. Shit, man, if you want to show us some love on the Cash App, we dropped it in the links, y'all. Free Malachi Z. York, free Jeff Fort, the L. Rookin, free Larry Hoover, y'all. We'll be back tomorrow. We got the Indigenous coming back on this week sometimes. You know, me and Roy might do one this week. We're going to get back up with Top Cat, see what the next one is. And we'll try to get some more guests on. We love you all. Divine love throughout the boundless universe to all. Wadu. Never have it been made so clear.